Hello everyone, and welcome to One Controller Report. I'm Benjamin Yoder here today to go through some pickups. I actually bought a lot of games recently, probably more than I should have, but I thought it might be fun to sit down and go through them. It's been a little while since we've done a pickup video. A big reason why I stopped doing them before was just because the time I was putting into them, because I was going on my way to capture footage for every game and overlay it, and I just don't think that's going to be reasonable to do for the type of content this is. So today we'll largely just be looking at the games and maybe talking a little bit about, or at the actual physical copy of the game, right? And then maybe just talking a little about what appealed to me about it. Most of these games I had ordered from Japan Retro Direct, which I use for the majority of my kind of like shelf shopping imports, where I just kind of grab stuff randomly. However, I do have a couple of other games from a couple local shops, and also I went up to California and picked up some games there too. So we got some Wii games, we got some PlayStation games, 64 games, all sorts of stuff. Before we get started, quick heads up here, I'm actually using auto exposure. I'm having some issues getting the lighting right for this. So as you're going to see, as I put a game under here, it's going to look pretty bad initially, but within a couple seconds it should clean up. So just as a heads up there. But we're going to start with Japan Retro Direct games that I've gotten from them, and specifically Wii games right now initially. So this first game here is Dragon Quest Monster Battle Road Victory, which I will be honest with you, I've been a very long time since I've really looked into this. I probably heard mostly about it when it came out, which I believe on the back here says 2010. Yeah, 2010. This is I believe a port of a arcade game in Japan called Monster Battle Road. I don't know if Victory is a part of that name or not, but it was an arcade machine that had like a sword sticking out of it, and so I don't know how the mechanics of the game work per se, but essentially you would pull the sword up, I believe, and some kind of action would happen in the game. And there's actually a Wii controller you can get that has that sword embedded in it. I thought about getting it for a while, but it just... when I really started to sit down and think about it, it would have just been really expensive to get it over here. And so maybe someday I'll get it, but at least today I won't be. But I wanted to try this game out specifically because I have taken a greater interest in Japanese arcade games recently, and it's really hard to actually play these in the US anyway without going overseas. This is, I believe, and based off the graphics up here, I believe this is a card game in Japan, so it likely was printing out cards whenever you played, kind of thing. So in the case of this one, we're probably going to be digital cards only. I don't think you'd use the actual physical cards. But essentially, it's a kind of an RPG, or kind of like a short burst RPG, maybe is the right word for it. You have a character that you create, and you also, I believe, can get monsters in your party. So there's a look at the disc and stuff real quick, and there's this little pamphlet in there. Something about the DSi showed up on here when I was looking at it a little earlier. Yeah, it's like, maybe it's just DSi points or something like that. But you can actually see some cards down on here. I don't know if this is the cards from the game itself, but it looks pretty nice. But looking at the manual itself here, essentially, have these kind of like RPG battles. You got 3 characters lined up here, and I believe you have a created character. Yeah, so there's your little character that you can create. And unlike I would assume the arcade experience, from what I saw of this game, there's actually like a town in it, so you can like hang around the town for whatever reason. If you're playing this in the arcade, it probably would be like a short, little burst experience, but when you're playing this at home, probably, needed a lot, like maybe not like a story per se, but like some kind of overarching, structure to it probably. So I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of it. I'm just finding some gameplay here. Here's some characters, I guess, character art. There we go. So here's like a town that you're in. You can kind of walk around the town, I believe. And I don't know if there's online play. There is like a Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. I believe this is the pay to play logo, basically saying that they're not pay to play, but like, I don't know, it might be pay to play, or it might have just been there's DLC you can purchase for it. But that was the difference between like the orange one and the blue one, is that the orange one meant there was some kind of payment associated with it, whether that was purchasable content, or I believe Monster Hunter in Japan may have had that logo as well, because you have to pay to play on the online server. So anyways, it looks neat. I do really want to check this game out. I don't know how, easy it will be to get into. But I'm gonna hope that, worst case scenario, this was I think a fairly popular arcade game in Japan, and maybe there's like some kind of wiki online that I can, go and machine translate and hopefully get some more information out of there. This next game is, I think, from a lot earlier in the Wii's lifespan, and I'm gonna try to read this. I'll probably do a really bad job. I believe it is Haneru no Tobira Wii Girigirisu. What does that actually mean? I don't know. But this was kind of one of the early Wii games that kind of, people saw on the internet and saw trailers for being uploaded to YouTube, and they're just like, what the heck is this thing? It's a bunch of men dressed up as like grasshoppers and stuff, and it's just, they're realistic faces, and that's also true in the video game itself. So, they also just have their normal human faces in there. So, as far as I'm aware, this is largely just like a mini game collection. I could be wrong about that. I like the dude's face right there. This is kind of a gross looking disc from a color perspective. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's Namco, by the way. I forgot. But yeah, it is basically, I believe, a minigame collection, and you just, do some random motions, or not random motions, but, motions associated with the minigames itself. Let's see if we can see something in here that's of note. There's some numbers, game over. I don't know what's going on here. Is there any actual, okay, here we go. This looks like minigames. Looks like maybe you're twirling the Wii remote to, like, blow out these candles on this birthday cake, maybe. Possibly. I don't really know. I don't have a lot of confidence that this game will be good. Not only because it's an early Wii game by a third-party publisher that is a minigame collection. All those things kind of add up to be bad things usually. The biggest challenge I think these games have often is, making the motions feel like something that's like directly impacting the game, or the player knowing what motions they need to do. Usually a game really needs some kind of like 3D representation of a character showing you what kind of motion you need to do to be effective in conveying, the motion the player should be doing. It's a problem that games like Cooking Mama Cook Off, I think, has on the Wii. So we'll see. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh on it, but we'll give it a good shot and see how it goes. But yeah, it's just like a weird looking game. So it probably wouldn't be too hard to sit down and put some time into that one. If you watch the podcast and streams, these last two games, I believe I showed off at some point there. One being Mom Chan's Diet, Wii Fit Figurobics. So this is a exercise game. And I believe this is some kind of model that is in Japan, or maybe she's like a training instructor or something like that. I don't really know. There's a lot of these kind of games, not only in the US, but also you have like Billy's Boot Camp and stuff on the Wii as well, and a bunch of variety of those kind of things. So in this particular one, though, I don't really know what kind of thing this is. It kind of looks like you're doing dance stuff a little bit. So, I don't know, maybe it's a lot of jogging in place and stuff. I did not look at a lot of gameplay for this to say, what you actually do in this game. But I don't really expect all that much in the case of this one either. I'm not sure what year this is. We'll check the year on here. But Enterbrain, or no, not Enterbrain, IE Institute. I don't think I've ever heard of them. But, the game itself, looks pretty straightforward there. Character model looks kind of okay. I think Wii Fit did a really good job, like kind of making a very unique looking character model that didn't look strange despite the Wii's limited graphical capabilities. It's also this thing here I saw earlier with I think they have a before and after picture, but it does that whole thing where the before picture is just a random picture that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yeah, here it is. It's just the lady sitting in a chair in a normal clothes and nothing going on, and then after, and you see her posing all confidently and her more skimpy outfit kind of thing, right? And it's just kind of I mean, admittedly, I have not read into this text here, but it kind of looks like this is saying 125 kilograms to 105 kilograms. I don't know for sure. I can't read Japanese, but yeah, it's just kind of those weird before and after pictures where it's you can't really tell per se, if any weight was lost between these two. It's just more of like the circumstance of the picture changes. But hey, sometimes you don't need to lose weight to feel better, look better. Sometimes you just gotta, take care of yourself. Dress yourself up, put yourself in a bikini, have a good time with that. So anyways, it looks kind of neat. And this last game, I forget the full name for this, but it's Full Metal Alchemist game. Prince of the Dawn. There we go. Tiny text down there. So this is Full Metal Alchemist, Prince of the Dawn. I have not really watched any Full Metal Alchemist. I watched like maybe 10 episodes back when I was in high school. A friend like burned some episodes to a DVD for me. He was like, check this out. And I watched it, and it was fine for me. I didn't like love it or anything. But this game caught my eye. For a couple of reasons. One, it is like an adventure game largely, so it is a lot of text. But it is an adventure game that's kind of accentuated with like Wii mini games and stuff. And I always kind of like games that try to mix Wii motion controls into the story itself. Whether this game does that is kind of another thing. Like, does it well, I guess I should say. But it does seem like it has like these mini games spread throughout the story where you do things. I think there's like a page back here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it that shows some of the mini games. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, like here we go. So it's like a this is maybe not super encouraging to see, but it's like a pipe dream kind of thing. There's also, it looks like maybe like quick time events. It's like Ed, is that his name? Like dodging a missile or something. Also have like an on-rail shooter kind of looking thing here. So I don't know, it may not be any good, but it is very text heavy, so it is going to be a bit of a challenge, I think. But I've gotten a lot more adventurous with these kind of games and being willing to give it a shot. This has actually been on Bing Store for a while, or at least a listing for it. Maybe somebody bought it and he keeps replacing it, but it's just something I've been mulling over every time I've purchased anything from him. So eventually, I finally bit the bullet on it. One thing I did not realize is that I think this is like a little picture of, I don't know his name, the little armor guy or whatever. He looks like he's running around, and I'm pretty sure he's like a main character. Well, I know he's a main character. I think you're probably controlling him. So it looks like there might be like a little city you can run around. There's also a picture up here with, I believe, the police chief or something. Again, I don't know any of these characters. Like hanging out there. So it looks like there is like some overworld movement, which I was not really expecting, to be honest with you. I kind of expected you to just point to like different parts of the map and the character, you just like load into the scene. I could be wrong about that. So anyways, it looks kind of neat. There's also like some Full Metal Alchemist like advertising stuff here. It actually advertises the Wii game here. So I'm wondering if this is like just generic and they put this in anything like, hey, no matter what you're buying, there's some Blu-ray like advertisements and all this other stuff. So it might just be like a more generic thing. Although it looks like it's like a little cutout thing here. See that? Let me see if I can read what that is. Some kind of campaign. I don't know. Something presents campaign, and then just like surveys and stuff here. Square Enix codes. Register my copy of Full Metal Alchemist. Get points. I do like the disc though. I think this is like a neat thing. I don't know if I would call this like a pentagram. There's probably a real name for this. But I mean, the show, I think they use the like symbols on the ground to craft stuff and things like that. So I think it's like a fun use of the disc. I'm a fan of how they handled that. So, oh, I need to put the manual away too. Get the manual back in there. Get in there, little manual. Whoop. All right, cool. So that's it for Wii games from Japan Retro Direct. So this next set here are PS2 games from them. This first one here being Black Cat. I don't know if this is based off an anime. Probably is. Could be wrong. I don't know. And Black Cat is if I looked at the back of the box actually initially, if I like saw this in a store, I would 100% assume it's like a visual novel, since all they show is like the text with like the character faces. But if you look on the front here, you can actually see it is listed as a action-adventure game. I don't know if you'd categorize it as that really from what I've seen as well. And it's also a Capcom game as well. So it looks like this is 2006 is when this came out. So a pretty late PS2 game. Visually, it does not look that impressive, that's for sure. Kind of a... I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on this disc. I like the color a lot. It does look a little bland from like an art perspective, but I do like the color. But I believe it's probably more of like an RPG than it is an action-adventure game. But who knows, I haven't played it yet. But it is kind of somewhat unique in that the main character has a gun, And so when you go into combat, and I don't think it shows it in the manual here anywhere, but when you go into combat, you basically get, we got like a traditional like menu-based system here, and unfortunately that doesn't really show you anything, but essentially you get like a cursor that appears on screen. I think it moves automatically, and then you have to like press the button at the right time to shoot enemies in like their weak spots or whatever. So it is neat looking, and it has like an overworld you can walk around on as well, but I just have no idea like if it's going to be any good. I did see there's like a review of this game online, and they didn't seem to really give it that much of a chance, I will say. They seemed kind of iffy on the game, but it didn't seem like they really understood what they were doing per se either. So, but it looks like it might be kind of a slow game too, just because of the mechanics and how it works. But yeah, again, I don't know if this is an anime. It says DVD. That looks like an anime DVD, so it's probably an anime. so let's just say this is an anime video game. So I don't know, it just looked kind of neat, and it was fairly cheap. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Speaking of more anime I don't know anything about, here is Magister Negi Magi. It says right there. There's a bunch of other text here as well, and I'm not going to even try to read that. A lot of kanji in there. I don't want to think about that. SP. Whatever this is, it's got an SP on it. And this is a PS2 game, and it's actually rated 18. I don't know like what that necessarily means in Japan, if it means that there is actual like material in here that is more than just erotic, but who can say. But this is actually a special edition version, so it actually has two discs in here. I don't know what the extra disc is, honestly. Again, I don't know this anime, so looks like Mahora Girls Volume 2, so maybe Volume 1 shipped in something else and they packaged this in here, maybe in another game? Who can say? I don't know anything about this, though. Guys, gonna look at that? Look at that. Okay, she's wearing a bikini. I wasn't sure if she was like... I couldn't tell if she was wearing anything because of all this other stuff on top of it, and the circle in there. I was like, is she just naked? But yeah, I don't know what this is. I did not think about this at all. There we go, there's the full art for whatever that is. Are those your favorite characters? Who can say? Oh, the texture on this is kind of neat, though. Like this plastic texture, it's like kind of like, I don't know if you'd call it a matte finish. It's got like a layer to it. I like it. I like how it feels. Oh, is there 2 discs? No, just 1 disc. So, anyways, there's that thing. Probably like a DVD with like stuff on it. But then there's the video game itself. Hello, video game. This video game kind of caught my attention because you can see down here in this little corner screenshot here, like you kind of like go around the school and there's just like a bunch of girls around at all times, and they just kind of have like little text boxes over their heads, and it seems like you just kind of do stuff like cast spells and stuff, and that seems to affect their like relation to you to some degree or something. It's kind of strange. Like this disc is a little bland here as well. I don't know. Not a huge fan of these anime game discs that are happening right now. Well, I guess the Full Metal Alchemist one was pretty good, but anyways, so you kind of like walk around the school, it looks like, and then I guess you like cast spells possibly, and that like kind of affects how characters react to you. I don't know anything about this anime. I do believe it is more horny than most other anime. I could be wrong. That is not me saying that I know anything. It's just what I've heard. But you know, you're walking around the school and stuff's happening. What really caught my eye about this game, and I need to like look into it more, but like this game really reminds me of Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment on the Vita, and then also, you know, by extension of that, Infinite, what was it called? Infinite Stratus or something like that? I don't know. The PSP Sword Art Online game that didn't get released in the US, but is a part of Hollow Fragment. But like the UI for this and like how the characters animate and move around the world reminds me of that game a lot. So it makes me kind of wonder if there's some kind of connection there lineage-wise on like who worked on these things. So I need to look into that more. I forget the name of the developer who worked on that. I think it was like Aqua something. But this is a Konami game, so you know, who actually worked on it is a different thing. It could be a Konami developed game, could be not, but I don't know. Let's access. So that is something I bought. I don't know, I was just very curious about it, was really the big thing. Just like how the game looked and how it played. And then this last PS2 game here, more dieting, Diet Channel. This is a DDR game. I was originally not going to buy this, but Vink threw it in a bundle deal for me, so I was like, sure, I'll give it a look. As far as I'm aware, this is like and I saw the plastic on this one, but as far as I'm aware, this is like a DDR game that, like, more or less just looks like a normal DDR game to me, but has like a calorie counter in the corner. So let's exercise. I don't know how much more there is to this game. Ooh, I'm loving this disc. Look at this disc. This is a great disc. It's like pink and blue. That's good. But like I think there's like maybe more exercise style, like I don't know if mechanics is the right word, but like motions you might do. But it largely just seems like DDR with like a calorie counter. So I don't really know. And unfortunately, I don't own a PS2 DDR pad. That's why I was going to pass on it initially before he threw it in. Because I was just like, I don't have a way to really even play this right now. Maybe you can use a controller, but like it's a diet, like exercise game. Like what's the point of that if you just use a controller? You know, you got to get up. You got to move. Looks like there's some stretches going on down here. I know these are like really tiny screenshots, but I see a little like leg angle rolling back there with like tucking their legs in. So looks like there's some stuff here that's not just DDR, but I did see that there is like actual DDR in here as well. So DDR plus diet. So looks kind of nice. I like the character graphics and stuff going on in here as well. Diary. So fun little thing. Diet channel. Oh, what is this? E-Walkie Life. Is this just like a pedometer? A Konami pedometer? Is that what's happening here? so yeah. Alright. DS and 3DS stuff. Also from Japan Retro Direct. I have not opened the majority of these yet, so I'm going to have to de-plastify them real quick. But this first game here, this kind of looks cute. I believe it's a rhythm game. And I actually think it uses like full motion video. Yeah, there's like real people down there. So it just kind of looks kind of cute and fun. I don't know. Again, maybe this is based off something. I don't know. Don't ask me about licenses or something, but I do like the characters in the back there. The little baby looking characters look a little weird, maybe a little outside of my personal range of interest. Very standard looking cart there for that. But basically just looked like a simple rhythm game kind of thing. I have built up a lot of rhythm games in my life, and I really need to play more of them. But the FMV aspect seemed like a neat little gimmick. So, got a little character, I believe you have 2 different rows for your rhythm stuff. You like click on both sides. And so basically it's a simple 2-button rhythm game maybe. There's a keyboard piano kind of thing going on, so maybe a little more complicated. I do love this thing going on here though. Yeah, it just kind of has a cute look to it. I don't know, there's like a maybe this is a little more complicated than I thought it was, because there's a lot of different little things in here. I thought it was mainly just gonna be a rhythm minigame based off what I saw. So, I don't know. Is this like a spot the difference kind of thing? I can't really tell with that one. So this might be more of a minigame collection that has a rhythm game element to it on there as well. I get the impression these characters probably are from something. I could be wrong. I just feel like art-wise it gives me that feeling of just like, hey, this comes from some other franchise or something. So GP Gate, is that something? 2007 Dorasu, is that something? You guys tell me. I don't know. So there's that thing. The next DS game here, again, this is like with Mom-chan and Fullmetal Alchemist. I actually showed this off on stream at some point. Well, I didn't play the game, but I showed the game itself off. This is like a kind of penguin-based adventure game kind of thing. I believe there's a DS game as well. And I believe you have like, this little like penguin mech, this mech that you pilot. Very, very green. But I do like the green. It's a card. Okay, cool. Check it out. Again, no idea what any of this stuff is, but I don't know. Maybe it's something. I have a lot of Konami games in here. I'm just kind of really Konami and Capcom games. I'm just now realizing. Let's get that manual out of here real quick and take a look at that. 3DS games in Japan, I'm curious like how many of them had manuals. I know in America, manuals were kind of a rarity on 3DS. You might get like a little slip with like a little bit of paper in there, so. But, yeah, this is really cute looking. But yeah, I think it's like an isometric kind of adventure game kind of thing. Looks like you have a kind of a behind the back view there. There's a couple of health bars going on. So maybe there's like some kind of, maybe not competitive is the right word, but maybe like a one-on-one kind of thing. Or maybe like a town defense thing. I'm making a lot of assumptions here based off seeing a health bar on screen. Or 2 health bars on screen. So, some of the character models are pretty cute. Little chibi character models. Although the game seems zoomed out enough that I don't know how much you'd actually see those character models up close. I don't know. They play around with different camera angles here. Look at that. It's like a behind-the-back penguin view, side view, and like some kind of shop-looking place. So yeah, it just looks kind of cute. And so I figured I'd try to pick it up. I think Vink actually did list the DS game for this recently. So part of me was like, maybe I should get it. But at the same time, part of me is like, well, I should probably just play this one first. And then if I am interested, maybe we can come back to this. So that's a cute thing. Look at the little penguin car thing going on. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Doraemon, a little bit, just like the gadget kind of stuff aspect of it. All right. There's a bunch of English here. I'm gonna try to read it. Wontertainment. Oh, okay. It's English down here. Wontertainment Fortune Channel. Is that what this actually says? Ira. Rintame. I don't know, we're just gonna stick with Wontertainment Fortune Channel. I don't know what that is. It's a bunch of dogs. I believe this is a fortune-telling game, but it has a dog dress-up element to it. I forget who I saw talking about this once, but I thought it looked cute, and Vink made a post about it. He's like, this game does not look very good, but I have a copy if you want to buy it, and hey, the right person found it. This is also put out by Capcom. Kind of a... I don't know if I've ever seen like a DS cartridge that's really impressed me. Admittedly, they don't have like a lot of space they're working with, but you know, maybe DS era cartridges are not like super entertaining to look at. Manuals though, they do have that. We're gonna see a lot of dogs and clothes, I get the feeling. So, oh, here's an ad in there. Oh, okay. Looks like this might have been an arcade game of some sort as well. Card-based one. See, we're full circle. Full circle. We're back at the card-based arcade games. Oh, little dog Tamagotchis and stuff. Apparently this is like a franchise of things. Doko Demo style. Interesting. Anyways. Let's look at the video game aspect. Well, I don't know how much video game's actually in here, but we got some dogs in dresses. This guy is like a dog in a Hawaiian sweater or shirt or something. Look at that cute little dragon shirt. That's a cute little dragon shirt. I think that shirt says LOL Puppies? Cool Puppies? I think it says Cool Puppies. Or Cool Puppy. But yeah, I don't get the impression there's a lot to this game. I think you just dress up your dog and get a fortune. So, you know, I'm kind of okay with that. That's kind of... If that's all this is, that was my expectation, so I can live with that. There's some dogs using DS lights. A pink and a white one. So, pink DS lights look nice. So, yeah, not a lot going on here. Some kind of multiplayer thing. Alright. Or download play? 4-player fortune telling. I don't know. That's kind of... Something about this dog in particular just like does not fit the rest of this, I feel like. So... This is like one of those things that like, this will probably be fun to look at in like an afternoon and then never again. But, anyways, there's a fun little trip down that thing. It's holding a DS there as well. So I feel like somebody had fun making this manual. I could be wrong. But this seems like it'd be fun to like throw together. Just like, hey, let's just dress up a bunch of dogs and throw them in there. I mean, it's essentially that is what this franchise is, I guess. This now I believe to be franchised. Tommy, that checks out, Tommy. So Capcom made the game. Tommy is probably the one who handles the merchandise around it. Hey, if you've been watching this channel for a while, this probably looks somewhat familiar. This is, I believe it's Keikaishi. I'm trying to get this plastic off here. I played the Wii game for this, and really liked it. So when Vink listed the DS version or not DS version, although I would be curious does this came out around the same time? Is there a year on here? Let's see. I'm not seeing a year on here. Oh, 2007. Yeah, I think 2007 was the same window, so I think this came out at the same time. But I don't think the games are like necessarily related to each other outside of just being based off the anime. Again, an anime I have not watched, but I really enjoyed the Wii game at the very least. Kind of a bland cartridge, but I would say that's a nice looking manual. That's a nice bit of manual art. I mean, do I prefer the manual art over the cover art? I think so. Manual art looks nicer. I feel like most manual covers look better than the actual game cover, so. Nice looking picture though. I don't know much about this one. I assume it uses the touchscreen. If you don't know, this is like a guy, again, I have not watched the anime, a guy and a lady who can like summon boxes and they trap things in those boxes and then explode them. That's what happens in the video game on the Wii at least, so I'm gonna take a guess that is similar to what happens here. Looks like there's some like, okay, it looks like it's like a side scroller kind of thing instead. So it's not using, well, it's using the 3D, but it looks like it's using it for like the school like view or whatever. When you're like talking, yeah. So there's the boxes or whatever. So you can also platform on the boxes too, which didn't really do that much in the Wii version. But you could find a couple different like hidden secrets, and you can change the size of the boxes. Same there. This looks like it fills almost the entire screen, which is kind of big. So I'm gonna guess this will be pretty straightforward as an anime licensed game, and if it's anything like the Wii one, it'll be pretty short, but I'd be perfectly happy with that. There's like some weird, I don't know what's going on here. This is like a isometric looking mode here or something. Tornado. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. This looks like there's some diverse stuff going on here. So there's, okay. Hey, you guys. You know that guy? He's my favorite guy. I don't know who he is. Detective Conan. Apparently, Detective Conan DS game. There's also a Detective Conan Wii game. Oh, is this is this just the card game? I think this is just a card game here. Although it says Cardass with it, which is I believe, I don't know. Aikatsu is like running on Cardass, I believe. I don't see like an arcade machine in here though. I see like what looks like a card dispenser, but no like actual use case. I don't think there was a Keikaishi card arcade machine. I could be wrong, but I get the feeling that that's just straight up cards. So, anyways, looking forward to checking that one out. And then the last set of things here are just a couple of quick hits because they are loose things or they just don't have a lot of material with them for us to go through. This first one is Hello Kitty Magical Museum. It just looks like a cute puzzle game for the Game Boy Color. I don't own that many Game Boy Color games, so it just looks like a kind of a neat thing. It's in pretty good condition. I'm not going to take out the plastic right now because it's not really going to benefit us in any way right now, but still very cool. I have previously bought a box copy of this, but I bought it for a friend. This is just going to be the loose card. I believe this is called Irritating Stick, or that's what it's translated as. So basically you have a like dot you're moving around the center, or like on a track, and that dot can't touch the walls. If you touch it, in the case of like the game show I think it's based off of, they like would shock you if you had the stick you're moving around. I believe in the 64 version they may have Rumble Pack support. Maybe they don't. I don't remember. I can't remember if there was Rumble Pack support or if I was reading somebody's comment saying they wish there was Rumble Pack support to like replicate the getting shocked kind of thing. But basically you just use the analog stick on the 64 to move a dot around a maze and you just try not to touch the walls. I played a little bit of that when I bought it for a friend just to check it out before I sent it to him. But in this case, here's my own copy. And I don't have many boxed copies of anything on 64, so I don't feel the need to get those personally for myself. So I just got the loose cart in this case. And this last thing here was just kind of a neat little thing. I'm going to open this one up, but I don't know what will be here to see. This is called Xboxism New Year 2004. This is a Japanese Xbox demo disc. I will be honest with you, I have not modded my Xbox to figure out what I'm going to do with this yet, but I believe somebody did upload the footage from this, but I believe it's like covered with commentary, so I don't know if there's like a raw upload of just like, you know, whatever's on here. I assume a bunch of trailers. I'm gonna guess these red dots are probably actual playable demos, which looks like Magatama, whatever that is. I'm guessing Ridge Racing, Racing Evolution, R Racing Evolution. It says Namco. Seems like a Ridge Racer thing. And Project Gotham Racing 2. And I'm gonna guess the rest of these are all just trailers for things, including Cameo, the Xbox version of Cameo. So I'm gonna guess it's just a single piece of paper on here. We'll take a look at the disc though. Pretty straightforward disc. And then it does open actually. Let me try to get this out without tearing it though. It's not playing nice. Okay. All right, just looks like some straightforward controls for each of the demos. So, yeah. Not a lot going on there, but it seemed like a neat little thing. So. And that's it for the Japan Retro Direct stuff. Again, I'm a big fan of Japan Retro Direct, so if you do want to import games, I always recommend going with through Vink. Vink's always been very, very helpful in that regard for me, and I've been ordering from them for like 10 years now, and always very, very happy with what I end up getting for that. So these last things here are not from Vink. These are actually from some local places I purchased from, as well as when I went to California, I bought from a store as well. I'll try to remember what the name of it is as I go over them. So the first two here is, I believe it's called like World 8-1 in California. It was in Little Tokyo. So let me do one thing at a time. I guess we'll do this real quick. Doraemon 2. So if you don't know, I played the original Doraemon game on 64 and really liked it. This is the sequel. The type of game it is very different in my opinion from what I've seen. I've seen some people say it is similar, so I will say I have not played this game that much yet, so I could be wrong. But the first game feels more like a Mario 64 kind of platformer, where this title feels more like a top-down adventure game in a way that I think might make it so I don't like it as much. But we'll see. I might actually stream this one. I think Doraemon games are really fun and neat to go through, and they're usually pretty straightforward. I think there's a game facts guide for it as well. I can't show you the back. There was some damage to the back of this cartridge, but because I don't have like a way to adapt 64 cartridge or like put Japanese 64 cartridges into my Nintendo 64, I just switch out the back plates for mine. So I took one of my football games and just swapped it out for now, and then when I'm done with the game, I'll swap the other back on. So, but there's like a little bit of like a tear that was on the back of it. But anyways, I put it in for a little while just to take a look at it and get a feel for it. And yeah, it is very kind of weird because it's like very isometric focus, but the game kind of expects you to know where you're going, and so it's really hard to kind of keep track of what direction you should be going from what little I played of it. I will say this. So maybe there's like a map or something that I don't know about, or some way to do it. You can actually do a behind the shoulder view and look at what's in front of you, but it is only when you like hold down the R trigger, and you can't move when you're doing it. So you have to like use it and then stare and like look, and then you can move after that. And there's also like a world map as well, but you know, that's not super helpful when you're trying to navigate a singular area. So another game I picked up from that store was Crazy Climber for the Wii, which I think, I always forget, this might have come out on WiiWare at some point in some regions. I don't know for sure. It seems like a very simple game, I will say. You basically use the Wii Remote and Nunchuck to kind of throw yourself up the windowsills, because it's based off the arcade game Crazy Climber, where you're climbing up buildings. And it feels very much like a budget game for sure. But there are like some unique character designs. It reminds me a little bit of how like they took Wave Race 64 and like the characters in those games that were like pretty like faceless, and then in Wave Race Blue Storm and stuff like that, they actually like gave them more faces and like made them be actual characters. We might see some of them in here actually. Very, very plain disc there. It's like a brick texture. There's something, but that's kind of a neat touch, but I would not say it like stands out as like a good like good disc or anything like that. But let's see here. Some motion controls. Yeah. You get to see a little bit of the game here. I'll probably play this one sometime in the short term, and I would be very surprised if I didn't make a video about it. You can see some of the characters right there. Jet, Fox, and Nick, I think is what that says. I don't recognize that character. That might be a different character. I feel like there was like a character. Okay, here we go. Here are the characters. Okay. Nietzsche. Not Nick. Nick, it's Nietzsche. So we got Jet, we got Fox, we got Murphy, we got Nietzsche. So, but yeah, it seems like a budget game probably. I don't know what the original price was for this. I paid $30 for this, which is higher than I would like to pay for it normally. And at the time when I was purchasing it, I did not know what the value of it actually was. So I felt really bad purchasing it for $30 because I just felt like I was, just buying. I mean, I like buying from those kind of like smaller retro game shops to make sure I'm supporting them and stuff like that. But it just felt like I was just really high. But I looked at the prices later, and $30 actually is about right, if not a deal to some degree on this. So I don't regret it per se, but I do think probably, based off what I've seen, this would probably fit more as like a $20 budget title than it would anything else on the Wii when the system was, alive and well. Nowadays, like, whatever, just, there are ways you can play Wii games without spending money. So if you see Crazy Climber prices that are like really high, I have not played it through yet, but I just do not get the impression this is going to be some like deep, long-lasting experience. So anyways, that's what I got from that one shop in Little Tokyo in California. And then I also picked up 4 additional games from a local shop. I'm a big fan of Retro City Games here in Las Vegas, particularly the one on the east side of town. They have a really great selection, and it seems like their inventory is changing all the time. So I picked up a couple games here, a couple PlayStation ones. This is called Happy Salvage. It looks like some kind of like diving game. I don't know much about it. There seems to be some kind of underwater segments here, but it is all sprite focused, so I don't know how much depth there is to it. It is a chunky case, that's for sure. Not quite sure why. Is it a 2-disc game or is it a... Yeah, I think it's a 2-disc game. Let's see. Let me pull this out here. It's got a nice art style to it. Again, don't know if this is based off anything. Is this a sticker? We got a sticker? Yeah. That looks like a sticker. Oh, maybe it's not. Be happy, though. Everyone be happy? I don't know what this is. Oh, I think this is a sticker, actually. Yeah, it is a sticker. Okay. So, be happy. But yeah, it just has like a really nice, soft-looking art style. It looks very, very text-heavy. So, I don't know how much I'll be able to get into this. It did seem like there was some kind of gameplay mechanics here where you go underwater and move about. There's like a town you can walk around and stuff as well. So, looks neat. I love this little like town diorama here. I know it's probably hard to tell on there, but it looks like something somebody hand built as like a little island kind of thing. So that's really a nice touch there. But yeah, I just don't know much about this. I just looked at it and said that looks nice, and I think the price tag's still on here, but I think it was $10. I think there's also a live action version of Happy Salvage. Again, I don't know if this is based off anything or what. This is TV drama, so a Happy Salvage TV drama. That makes me feel like this is probably an anime first and then a game second. Happy Salvage DVDs. Okay, Happy Salvage seems to be an anime of some sort. So, all you Happy Salvage fans, tell me what I'm missing. We got 2 discs here that actually look pretty different visually. Interesting. It says TV drama on it. So I wonder if this is game softo. Huh. The way that these look very different to me make me wonder if these are 2 different things. Because this is like listing stuff out here. Character something as well. So I wonder if this is like a bonus disc and this is the actual game disc. I don't know about that. But anyways, just nice looking thing. We'll how about this? Put this in here first. That somehow, I'll be honest with you, I really hate spine cards. I know that they're good to have and they show you the prices of games. We can see that this is a $60 video game, basically. But I don't know, they just feel so awkward. Put the manual there, and we'll put the sticker right there, so we have happy faces. Start to finish. Anyways. But apparently I was feeling very, like, underwater excited or something, because I also picked up Deep Sea Adventure. This definitely has less of a, like, charming looking art style and more of just like a, you know, PlayStation era CG graphics style. But it does look kind of neat, and there's another thingy. This is $70 basically. I believe it's a submarine game, and you like go around and explore underwater, so probably a bit more gameplay to this one. This is a thick manual though. Kind of go around, there's the controls for that. Go around as a submarine thing. Don't know anything about this either. Gonna take a strong guess this one is not based off an anime. But you have a little radar going around. Looks like a first-person submarine section you're doing there. Let me see. Is there anything? This is really thick, so let me see if I can pick out some stuff to show you rather than try to flip through it all in front of you. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a lot of submarine pics and stuff, as far as I can tell. So maybe not anything too exciting in there, but definitely looks like a neat game. Some kind of camera rotation stuff. So it looks like they're talking about spinning camera, then vertical camera there. Damage gauge, air gauge. It's like a depth counter, compass, all the UI stuff, so. Okay. But yeah, this just kind of looked neat as well. So I also picked this one up just because it looked like the most interesting thing on the shelf. I believe the overworlds are 2D as well. 2D kind of Super Nintendo looking. I think Happy Salvage's overworlds look a little better than this one, honestly. But this one has like actual 3D underwater gameplay. Here we go. We got some characters here. We got some CG art with that. That actually looks pretty nice. Is that drawn art? No, that's CG there. That's actually nice looking CG right there. Doesn't look awkward. The lighting looks good. Look. Adele. Oh, I like Adele's, I don't know the difference. She's like dressed in a skirt there, and apparently she's being hung up. Is she being kidnapped? Is that what's happening? I guess this is like their diving uniforms, maybe. I like her diving uniform. Silver Wolf. Free Gator. Alt Mark. Maybe that's like their jobs. Wonder Rung. Oh, they have different submarines, I think. Interesting. I don't know what this is showing me. I think it's like don't have the disc in a room with a pot that's putting out water, humidity. Deep Sea Adventure. Very cool. And then the last two games are actually English language video games. In my home language for... Oopsie. Messing stuff up. In my home language for Americans, such as myself, American video games. If I can get Deep Sea Adventure to go away. Sweet, sweet American video games. Disney Princess Enchanted Journey. $8 apparently, is what I paid for this. I've seen this game a few times, and, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. Looking at this box art, it does not look super promising. I'm not really sure how I feel about the aesthetic of the game. I'm not a Disney fan. However, there's a couple things that stood out to me. Although I do like this. It says, bonus unlockable minigame with Belle. That sure is a bullet point you can have on your box. But you can customize your character, clothing, stuff like that. Basically it looks like kind of like a little adventure game kind of thing. And you just kind of walk around like a bunch of, like, I assume Disney-themed areas. This is a full-color manual, though. That's kind of surprising. And I assume you just have, you know, little, if not mini-games, some kind of motion controls where you're casting magic, maybe. Magic Twirl! Basic movement. I'm gonna guess you're just, swing the remote left and right. That is a Magic Twirl. Your heroine. Guide your own heroine on her quest. So... Castle Gentle, so I don't know, it just looks kind of like it could be good mechanically. I don't know what's going on here. Is this combat? Is that what's happening here? I don't think so. Pay attention to Jack and Gus. Is this like a I don't know what's going on, man. But it just like looked interesting enough that I was like, I could give this a shot. See how it goes. Maybe I'll love it. Who can say? Now I have 2 Disney games. This and what's it called? Magic King, whatever the 3DS Magic Kingdom one is. So, anyways, just look neat. Thought it would be something worth checking out at some point, maybe. Probably privately. I don't know how much anyone cares about watching me stream it. And then I had talked about this recently. I had passed up Big Brain Academy on the Wii a few times because it was like $8, and generally I'd want this game to be cheaper overall, but at least here in Las Vegas, it is very difficult for me to find anything under $5. So I went ahead and picked up this version of the game. Big Brain Academy. I kind of like the idea of Big Brain Academy. I still have never played one though. I like the idea of Brain Age as well. So I'm not quite sure what the difference is between like a Brain Age and Big Brain Academy outside of like aesthetics. And I know the more recent one kind of looked neat, but I don't know. I don't know what the Big Brain Academy fan base is like and like what they got going on there. Mental Marathon. Like, are there long-time Big Brain Academy fans? Who can say? I need to give this series a shot at some point, so maybe someday. How to enroll. So, it's got a cute look to it though. I'm always a fan of the Miis. Official Nintendo Mii games always catch my eye, so. Looks like there's different activities: identify, memorize, analyze, compute, and visualize. It just to me always seemed like a cuter looking Brain Age, is what it seemed to me. Like, we want to make our own big brain thing without Dr. Kawashima being a part of it, and like him having to endorse the things you do in there. Which, speaking of, one of the reason I mentioned Kawashima having to endorse things is that recently I was listening to the book Disrupting the Game from Reggie Fils-Aimé. I actually bought this digitally initially, and then I saw there was this physical audiobook version of it, which I was like, that's kind of weird, but kind of neat. It just feels very low budget though, which maybe I shouldn't be too terribly surprised. Disrupting the Game, Reggie Fils-Aimé. But I just thought it was kind of neat that they had like a physical CD version of this that you could buy. So I got it. But yeah, I actually recently listened to this book. Just finished it up last night actually, and I really enjoyed it. And one thing they mentioned in there was the fact that Dr. Kawashima is not really recognizable here in the US, so they added Sudoku to the US version to give it more appeal and more marketability to kind of the more mainstream audience in the US. So that was kind of like an interesting little insight, but they had to like go through Dr. Kawashima and make sure that like Sudoku like fit within his like idea of like what brain training would be, kind of thing. So that might be part of why they have like the separate brand for separate brain training kind of thing. So anyways, it was a really good book overall. I will say, well, let me say this first and foremost. I say it's a really good book. I have not, or an audiobook. I listened to the audiobook version, which Reggie narrates himself, which is nice. But I have not really listened to any of these kind of like business books before or anything like that. There's a couple different benefits I get from it. One is that it's nice learning about like some basic leadership skills that Reggie's developed, and like being able to listen to what his opinions and feelings are on that. But then also from the more video game perspective, Reggie Fils-Aimé is very much like my era of Nintendo fanboyism, where, I kind of got into Nintendo, like really, really following Nintendo in like 2000 and probably 5-ish kind of thing. I got on the Nintendo forums, I think around the time the DS launched. Got over to Go Nintendo, probably whenever the Tokyo Game Show thing happened where they showed off the Wii Remote. I believe that's the first time I ever went to Go Nintendo, and that's really when I started to get super deep into like following games on a day-to-day basis kind of thing. And so, Reggie and other CEO celebrities like Jack Tretton and things like that are kind of a part of that era of me following games in that way. So, like, I kind of get a lot out of this, not only from just, like, getting a little more insight into what was going on then, but also some of the thought processes behind some of the decisions that, I can think back on and, like, think about the public view of something versus, like, the actual, behind the scenes view of at least what Reggie conveys, kind of thing. So it was a really interesting book in that regard. Maybe if you're looking for like a ton of Nintendo talk, I will say like half the book is mostly about Reggie himself before Nintendo, and then even when you get into the Nintendo section, it often is talking about leadership strategies and things like that. So if you're just looking for Nintendo information, it's definitely in here, but it's not like 8 hours of that. I think it's like 8 hours in total, plus like a bonus interview with Jeff Keighley at the end. So I think the 8 hours includes the Jeff Keighley interview in there. So, but I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. So anyways, it's a lot of stuff. That is the stuff that I have gotten, though. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about this stuff. So hopefully check out most of these at some point here. So yeah, if you have any feedback about this setup, let me know. I know the exposure kind of thing was being weird, and now I had to like make it so it would actually work properly once I put the thing down. But I do want to potentially start going through my game collection and talking about games in my game collection. And I got a lot of stuff in my face here as well, so I might try to do this setup for that. I'm just gotta figure out how to like iron out the kinks on it, right? So, but any feedback's cool and helpful on this stuff. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great week. Bye!